Hello, and welcome back to Iron Butterfly Podcast. My name is Megan Jaffer.
And I'm Katie Hopkins, and we'll be your hosts.
We created Iron Butterfly Podcast in honor of Eloise Page, the original Iron Butterfly. And on this very special season, we are going inside our first documentary feature film titled The Power We Hold: Stories from Women Spies. This film features 10 of the most powerful women you've never heard of, and this season, we'll get up close and personal with each of them. We hope you find their stories as powerful as we do.
And then I got the opportunity to be the Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. How did that happen?
I just want to pause for a second because I don't think the viewers and the listeners.
I'm sorry, I didn't do it well.
No, it was perfect. I just want people to take a breath and think about the breadth of your career.
Totally.
And how it wasn't linear. You did crazy different things. Like it wasn't like
it was like
you had this
to
path
IT
to like this
tools.
I mean, you zigzagged and you learned and you developed and you transformed where you were and as a person.
Do you think you ever got a job that you knew how to do?
No. So that's the way I describe my career. I never got a job I knew how to do. Until my last one. Like, all of a sudden when I became the principal deputy, they're like, aha, this makes sense.
You're like, I know this.
I know it all.
Yeah,
right? I can, from the beginning, right? Imagine that day that my boss moves me to be the technical analyst of telemetry on communication satellites. What do I know? I'm only at that point a year and a half into my career. And so then this is the big thing that is so cool. You are not stuck with the knowledge you have. So I called up one of the contractors and said, hey, do you have someone you can teach me about communications? And they did. And so what I would say is I did never get a job I knew how to do, but I did do two things that turned out to be smart. Whether I was smart at the time or it just seemed right. One is you do have to learn the craft that you're leading.
Yeah.
You do. You will probably never be an expert. That's why first line supervision is so fun, because you actually know how to do something, and so you can actually impart wisdom. Everything after that, you're like, I don't know this. But my career caused me to have to learn a whole bunch of new crafts.
Yeah.
And you do have to do that, and I don't know, I guess I've got a couple of IQ points and the energy and the belief that in order to be good enough for the women and men that were expecting me to do something, that I had to do that. But the second thing I learned along the way is, yes, you have to learn that. Two, that forces you to rely on your women and men. And I will tell you this, if I have had a great career, it's because I'm decent at setting a quest. I'm even better at trusting my women and men to get us there. And they have never
let you down.
Never. Whether it's whatever team I put together to do whatever special task, from InQtel to the cyber study, I think we forget how good everyone is. I think we start thinking that there's only one or two people that can do it. No. If you set the conditions and you include them, they will take you wherever you want to go. Just like my boss, when they gave me the sensor study, was good enough at his job to give me my job, and I delivered something far more interesting than they would have ever come up with. And even when I screwed up, they were good enough at their job. So this notion of learning enough of the craft so that you can lead well, but remembering that even when you're new, you do bring leadership wisdom, and you don't wait to offer that. And so it's kind of this interesting ratcheting thing that kind of took me through my career. And I don't know whether I learned that or fell into it, or just I'm the luckiest person ever. But yes, I never knew how to do any job.
Okay. Well, here I'm having a strategic thought in my head. Because I also want to have some cliffhangers. So if people are watching this first, they go and watch the documentary. So there are parts that I want to strategically leave out because I want them to go watch the documentary.
Yeah, I
right?
think so too.
If they haven't seen it.
There are some flashes from your career that you do talk about that will be in the film. I think the one that's sticking out to me, which I don't think is in the film, because we usually will ask our guests to pick a couple
You
highlights,
ask really
right?
great questions. Watch the film, period. But what is so interesting about it is what you elicit from us by the question you ask that is different from the one that is only 5 degrees off from it that we all expected. You always ask, no, it's really cool. And so you get a different reflection. So even this is different from that, even if I ended up telling the same story.
Oh, no, you haven't. I'm
I
thinking
agree.
about the next step. And so that's where I want to,
see.
you know
I
what I'm
see.
saying?
Yeah, I
No,
get it.
you didn't.
Yeah.
And that's such a compliment. I actually love the way you phrased it, that it was like a 5%.
Yeah, just a
or
couple
5
degrees off, yeah.
I love that. And I will take that compliment, Sue. Shocking.
Let's pause.
Just let it just rest on your shoulders. I know it's a burden.
It's a burden, but I'm going to take it.
So
Okay, go ahead.
anyway, what I was going to ask is the scene that stuck out to me, which I don't think I've heard you talk about, is when you had the briefing with Sally Ride. And I would love to know, I just actually went to DC Docs, which is a documentary festival in DC. There's a documentary that just came out about Sally Ride and her whole life.
Everyone
What was
should
it
watch
like
that,
meeting
Sally.
her? What was it like working with her? What was it like briefing President Reagan? Like, just paint that
So
scene
many
for us a
things.
little bit.
So one of my favorite icebreaker questions to ask in a workplace is, what was your best day? Right? When you walk into a room, no one is, and mine, well, one every day, but mine was the day I came back to my desk, and there was one of those little phone memo slips that said, Sue, Sally Ride called for you. I know, right?
Oh, that's like the perfect image.
I know, right? And I still have that in my files. Yeah,
wow.
it's just, I don't know. And so this is Susie Monroe, whose 11th birthday, the day before her 11th birthday, was watching Neil Armstrong land on the moon, who all she wanted to do for her birthday was to go to the Space Needle, because we were living in Seattle at the time, putting a ship in commission. So space was just, I just loved it. And Sally Ride called for me, and I just couldn't believe it. Actually, the CIA had a program that they were going to put people on the shuttle, and I'd been one of the people that selected before they decided that would ruin the peaceful use of space, and if you put a CIA officer on the shuttle, that would kind of wreck that theory. So we didn't. So this was all just wonderful. Have you ever met people that you know you're never going to be a smartass?
Oh, we're sitting in front of one right now.
That's Sally Ride, right?
Oh no, I've never had that experience.
So no, and it's wonderful, right? It's like so inspiring, because it's, we all know what we have.
Yeah.
To see something that is qualitatively different. So that was the first time I met her. Incredibly kind. I would say shy, and almost unfair that this woman was the first woman from the US who went into space, because it took her to have to be public. And while not an ounce of timidity, but still loathing publicity,
spotlight, yeah.
it almost was unfair that this amazing talent was also thrust into that light. And then when you see the documentary, it almost breaks your heart.
It does, yeah.
Just,
particularly because the questions she was getting wasn't even about her expertise.
Just wasn't. It was about
what she
about women in the
represented.
70s,
exactly.
70s and 80s. We had a pretty narrow task that we were just looking at use of civil space between the U.S. and the Soviets, and at the time, the Soviet civil space program was more aggressive than the U.S. civil space program. Their boosters were more aggressive than ours, their interplanetary exploration. And so really it was NASA that wanted to get a briefing in front of President Reagan to compare and contrast so that he would say, oh, we need to be better
Oh, interesting.
at that. But she was just like...
What is it like to sit next to someone that you almost, I don't want to say idolized because that's such a strong word, but really, truly admired?
Yeah, I have
distance.
no problem knowing when I'm in a moment and just soaking it in. I mean, and it wasn't creepy. She didn't make it feel, but I just, you all know this. It's one of the elements of the luck I said I've always had. I mean, there was nothing that meant that had to happen. As a matter of fact, the reason I got the opportunity because I wasn't a very good branch chief. Because I should have given...
This feels like revisionist history.
No, because I just remember this. Because it came early in my tenure and it came to my desk, and what I should have done was assigned her to work with one of my analysts. That's what I should have done. I just wasn't quite mature enough. I mean, I'm really grateful for it, and it was wonderful, and I guess I did an okay job at it, but in sitting here talking about it, but being with her, and I've just always considered that one of the most remarkable things. And I think it also just put into context especially now, fast forward to this moment in time in America, where it seems to be sport to denigrate federal employees as though at best they're kind of lazy and not super smart. And at worst, and this is just not true and I don't know where it comes from, they're somehow malfeasant as those things are. When in fact, my career, every ounce of it, has been working with the most amazing people, like Sally. And she's remarkable because we all know who she is, but I will tell you there are people whose names you don't know that I work with. So much so that I remember when Elon Musk was named to Doge and all the adulation that came his way, I thought to myself, if I listed the 1,000 most impressive people that I have come across with in my career, and it would be no difficulty to name 1,000 impressive people, he would not make the list. That I love America, that he can have an idea, build a company, make gazillions of dollars. That's what I love about America. But that's not real weight. His rocket can break up, and he just has to build another one.
Yep.
And so the people I know, so I think it's sitting next to people like Sally is not about the notoriety of it, but about, oh my God, these people exist. And they walk among us, and they look like us.
Yep.
But what they're doing is so profound. And as I say, she has a big name, and for me, it was heroic. But I've sat next to so many people who are that over and over again. They just don't have a name. And I think that's like, I cannot believe that I've been around those people.
We can't either.
Right?
We can't either.
And I think that's what I'm hoping that what this really shows
Yeah. Is
that. And that they're also, at the exact same time, they're like the most impressive I knew, they're your neighbors.
yeah.
These same people are just like you that care in the same kind of fundamental way. So I don't know.
You know what's so funny that I'm thinking about? Obviously, like Ronald Reagan is a household name, right? There's nobody in America that doesn't know who Ronald Reagan is.
Such a sad.
But if I was Ronald Reagan being briefed by Sue Gordon and Sally Ride, I would have been very nervous.
Okay.
I wonder if he felt that way.
No,
because that's my first.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So I have a picture from that White House photographer took. Okay, so I'm dressed as a woman in the 1980s who was dressed in a man-cut suit with padded shoulders.
I was going to say.
With a silk blouse with a tie. Just
Incredible.
so prototypical. Sally looked way cooler than that. So it was Ronald Reagan when he had a Band-Aid because he'd had a skin cancer removed.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting next to George Bush, and here's the conversation that goes on. We're talking about civil space program, and he goes, well, I remember when I was a boy. We were talking about the Soviets going to Mars. He said, I remember. I used to read science fiction books out in the cornfields in Iowa.
I can't, sorry.
And everyone's looking. And he's talking like Ronald Reagan. I'm a horrible. And he said, and I would close my eyes and imagine that I was going to space. He said, I mean, you're laughing.
Where do you go from there?
I know. And then he says, hey, George, why don't we have one of those boosters anymore? He said, we used to, but we got rid of it. It was the Saturn V. And he said, why'd we get rid of it? And George goes, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, it was just, it was so surreal. I mean, sitting in the little sit room, but we were talking, it was when he said, when I was a boy, I read science fiction, and I would close my eyes and imagine I was going to outer space and to Mars.
All right. I don't know where to go from there.
Well, let's go where you were going before.
Well,
I just wanted to, I thought that was
sorry.
such an
I love
incredible
that.
scene.
I love that. No,
I wanted to go back there.
The best part of that is the people we get to meet.
100%.
And the lesson from that is they're actually all around us if we look. You know the best speech my favorite talk I've ever given? It was up on the top of the Spy Museum when we were talking about Virginia Hall.
We were both there.
I know, and I gave my talk about hidden figures in my life. And that we all have them, and it would be best if we started naming them.
Oh, that was a special night.
You did, I remember.
That was a special night.
But I think that's it. I mean, so Sally...
I remember when you said, because you said a lot of people's names, but you said my name at the end. I remember I was the last one, and Greg looks at me like, he was...
But I think that's it. So I got to sit next to Sally Ride, and because I'm old and rangy and got a whole bunch of jobs I didn't know how to do, I've sat next to a lot of people.
And guess what? We've got to sit next to you.
Yeah. But that's my point, is we are sitting next to those people. Notice it. Like, drink it in, be inspired by it.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, we definitely do.
Oh, yeah.
We soak it in. Okay, so where I wanted to go is, so you had this great career.
I did.
PDD and it culminated in that.
And for those who don't know, I know there's many from the community listening, but PDD&I she was basically the HBIC. She was running the whole community.
That's a
The
shout
whole
out
shebang.
to Jatia.
Yeah, Jatia, exactly.
Jatia's a revelation.
She wouldn't have said the acronym, by the way.
She
but-
would not, which is why we love her.
Yeah.
So that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Is that right?
It is.
Okay.
Almost exactly.
Okay. So 6 years ago, what's been happening the last 6 years?
So I didn't expect to leave the government when I did. So I had to hustle up and figure out what else I wanted to do. I decided I didn't want to be anyone's employee. Again, I just spent 40 years being an employee, so that was my big decision. I'd been on this kick of believing that national security was changing, and national security decision makers were not exclusively in the government, and they were more in the private sector and in the populace. And we could go into a whole talk about why I think that is true, but that's kind of, so I'm out of government, lose the career I love, I'm not ready. I kind of have this idea that maybe I can help companies and individuals understand national security so that they can be better at their roles, especially if they want to participate in this thing. So I joined a bunch of boards. I teach students in college, and I advise a bunch of small startups about how to become bigger, all with the idea of trying to not be who I was, because I really didn't want to spend the rest of my life as the former. But I wanted to take what I had and then apply it to becoming a businesswoman and being more involved. And so, like anyone who finds himself on Christmas Eve having done no Christmas shopping, and you do panic buying, which means you buy too much. I took on way too many.
Know where this is going. See, some people panic buy candles. I panic bought companies.
I panic bought jobs because I have two problems, and you all know this. I have a helping problem and I have an interest problem. If I can do something to help, I must. And everything interests me. And so it says, hey, can you do this? I'm like, sure, I'm in. Do you have time for it? I think I can compress it. So I'd say for the first 4 years, I was learning how to become a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And way too busy to do anything else. A lot of things, when you're in your 60s, a lot of things happen in your life. One, my parents got older, and so I was there for COVID. In a weird sort of way, I was really glad I was out of the government because I was more able to be there for my parents as they got older and as they both passed, and I wouldn't have had the time to do that. I can imagine if I were still in a governmental position at the time, I would have missed that and I would have hated it. So for 4 of the 6 years, I'm too busy. I'm helping my parents at the ends of their life, and I'm grateful for that. It's really hard for anyone who's going through it. It's really hard, but I was grateful that I had the time. And then just at the moment that Jim and I were figured out, you know what, our children married Texans, and so they're never leaving Texas. And we're going to buy a place there so that we can create our own family Kennebunkport. That'll be bait for everyone to come. And we were thinking, how much longer does Sue want to work? Jim unexpectedly passed away. And it's hard for me to not see that as a big event in terms of how my life unfolds from there. You all will be frustrated or not surprised to know that I can find goodness in this. So one, the idea of losing Jimmy, who I had been with since October 16th, 1977, not that I remembered the day and valued everyone since. What we discovered in losing Jim was you can bear it if all you have is what you have, and what Jim and I had was great. And so kind of got over that. I got over my children, and I learned how to live without Jim.
Yeah.
And because of the amazing parts of our life that we had, I now only think of him with good memories. But it was a big deal.
Yeah, of course. One thing that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about grief recently because of things that have happened in both of our lives.
Yeah.
And one thing we spoke about last time we got together was that grief is a doorway. And I wonder if you can talk about that a little bit and how walking through that doorway has changed your lived experience.
I think if anyone ever had the misfortune of listening to everything I've ever said, one of the things I repeatedly say is you have to own the space you have and you have to feel the weight. I think the same thing is true of any circumstance, but loss is the same, where the idea of losing Jim is so unimaginable I can hardly say it. The act of losing Jim and sitting in it and not running away from it is the only way through it, but you are different for it. And all those things are just really hard to manage at the same time. And I think what I learned, because it's so personal and because it is a doorway, and it's a doorway that only you can see and only you get to use. Mm-hmm. And even though I had my children with me, they had their own doorways, and they were the only ones. And maybe because I just lost my parents, I was more prepared to recognize that they had different ones. The only thing you need to say to someone going through grief is, I'm so sorry. There's just not another word because it is that. That said, when you can do it and you can bear to feel that loss, you can keep walking. And we were talking earlier today, I still don't totally see my future because so much of it was tied up and I didn't need to see my future because all I had to do was be with Jim. That said, I think I'm still moving. It's just in a totally different way than I did before. Now, the rest of the story is I had a chance to feel it again. So I lose my bestie. And I'm still mad at him because, damn it, he liked doing financial stuff, and I hate it. As a matter of fact, one of our last conversations with Jim, we need to talk about things before the end. I said, can you just tell me a little bit about the taxes? He went, over to you. I'll never forget him. I know.
Oh, wow.
I know. He's like, you got it, Sue.
Do you know what I find beautiful though now? Because
it's such a
we
it's
did
so
know
big.
you.
It's so big. And Katie, I know you know this. It's just like gigantic.
But when we talk about Jim now,
It's fun.
it's with a smile on our faces. Like you tell this story about the taxes, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, damn you, you're leaving me with the taxes.
One of my grandsons, I was on the phone talking to somebody and I started laughing, and Jackson, one of my grandsons, walked up and he said, Fuzzy, are you talking to Popo? Because you always laughed when you talked to Popo. I know, that's good stuff, right? And so that same heavy weight that you must feel, that conversation with my grandson is part of the transportation through the door, right? So then I had that, and that's okay, because I could throw myself into work because I had all that work that I had overcommitted to, and now I don't have to get home, right?
I do have to say, I feel it's important to say this. I feel, and I know Megan feels the same way, I don't want to speak for her, but I know she feels the same way, so grateful that as part of this documentary process, we got to see you both together and got to spend time with you both.
It was real.
It was.
Well, and we got to experience, I'm going to use the word experience Jim. And so much so, I am not going to be embarrassed to say he almost made me pee my pants. Like, not joking. I am not exaggerating.
That is true.
Like,
on the floor. Megan was on the floor.
Yeah, I love both pieces of that. Number one is the reason I can stand and talk about it today and that no memory of Jim is hard is because we knew what we had, like from the very beginning. Like we were sheepish about it. We were like, does anyone else know that they have? And we never squandered a second, and we had no regrets. And so, if I could encourage anyone to live that way, I love that you all saw it, and I'm right. It was that. I mean, I had people that say, please don't bring Jim into the, we worked together in the same agency for 30 years. Almost no one knew we were married, even though we have the same name. And that's because we couldn't possibly be in the same room together because we would look like two kids dating. It's almost gross when you guys are in the room together. Imagine. And every once in a while we'd show up in the same meeting and be like, oh, ugh. And, it's almost like and you all got to see that, and it was real. It was true. And then Jimmy is just his own thing.
For sure.
100%.
For sure.
My favorite Jim moment ever from that trip. Let's come back to where we were in the beginning, talking about this poker game that we all played together. We had, of course, this artful idea that you had talked a lot about decision making and risk taking, and we were like, oh my gosh, we're going to stage a poker game. And so we brought out all the cameras. The cameras are rolling. We're like strategically placed around the table. We had our Topo Chicos. Exactly.
Shout out Topo Chico.
We were asking you, the deal was you win a hand, you ask a question.
Right.
And so we're going around the table asking people questions. And every time you start to answer a question with something really eloquent, Jim goes, oh, I got 2 aces. What's everyone else got? What's everyone else got? And we finally just let it roll.
No, Sue's face was like, just let it go. Like, we're not getting anything in this. Just let it ride.
But I will
just
tell
gonna
you,
ride.
it is one of the memories that I treasure the most. The amount we laughed.
We laughed so
He
hard.
had wine all down his shirt from laughing. It was
We
just
had
the
the
best.
blast, yeah.
Yeah, just the best, right? Mm-hmm. Just the best. And I don't know. So just, I don't know. Luckiest girl ever. And so then I get back, throw myself into work, and I take on even more work because, like it.
That's who you are.
Well, okay, so really, even though I worked a lot, I traveled the world. I saw none of it because why would I spend an extra afternoon in Rome if I could get home to Jim?
Yeah.
Right. Well, now, I mean, the good thing is I could do more. The bad thing is I didn't have any home to get back to, and so that's one of those doorways you talk about is how do I figure that one out? And then, in what I will consider either something that really calls karma into question, or it's just an oh come on moment. I was diagnosed with a really rare, aggressive breast cancer that is part of my life now, and okay, I'm designed for hard. There are thoroughbreds that are pretty and fragile. That's not me. I'm a mutter. Like, not super pretty, but kind of strong. And this is bad. It's like 1% to 2% of the cancers, and then my particular pathology makes it even more difficult. But that's okay. We'll just fight through it. I think the hardest thing for me was the idea of, oh my God, my children might have to lose their mom right after they lost their dad. This may surprise you, they liked us okay. And so I think that's been a weird motivator for me to say, I even on days that I'm tired, I can't. But it has produced another door. And I didn't realize how much my physicality was part of the story I told about myself. And by that, I mean, I've always been stronger, could go longer, could sleep less, could do more, could create 2 days for every 1 day. And it's almost my identity that I could will myself to do anything. Mm-hmm. And now I can't. I just can't. Well, what do I do with that? And what do I want to do with my time? I mean, I have this duality of, I kind of have to accept that it's not a pretty picture. And so I ought to behave as though that I know that to be true. On the other hand, I'm Sue fucking Gordon, and so there ain't no way this is going to be the end. And plus I have shit that I need to do, and there isn't anyone that loves living more than I do. How do I put all those things together? And so how do I say, what do I want to do now? When I still haven't figured out how I am without Jim. But there's no way I'm going to waste a second of what I have. So you're kind of catching me. Going to take us back to the beginning when I was a zoologist. I don't know if I've ever told this story. Flounder are amazing fish. Flounder, everyone knows they're bottom-dwelling fish, and they have their eyes on top of their head, so they're flat fish. Mm-hmm. That's not the way they're born. They're born like regular fish. I've just offended all the flounders. All
the flounders listening.
They're born like regular fish, and their eyes are on the sides of their head, swimming like this rather than bottom swimmers swimming like this. If you catch them at the right or wrong time, their bodies are changing, and they have an eye on the top and an eye on the side when they're turning into the bottom fish. In a weird sort of way, I think I'm in that horrible or beautiful moment where I'm kind of halfway between what I was and what I'm going to be. What I have figured out is that I better make use of the time I have. And my passion is in trying to keep America safe for democracy, as it's kind of been forever. My first part was being a federal employee. My second part was helping companies and individuals realize that they have a stake in this. I think the third part is being the voice that America needs right now, and trying to screw up my courage to do what I kind of hate doing, which is standing out. So I've started a podcast, and I give it a good solid B- right now, but
Tell us what it is.
But I'll get there. It's called Understandable Insights, and the whole purpose of it is to take these big issues that we talk about in the lexicon of the insider and speak about these issues in a way that puts them in context of the average bear, so that they can see that the actions that are happening are not something remote, but something that will affect them, and even more importantly, over which they have some control if they take action. So I'm doing that with my son-in-law, my daughter's husband, and it's like I said, I'll give us a B- right now, but we're on our way, trying to get it right in the book that I want to, not because I think I'm special, but because this thing that I've been graced with actually has revealed a lot of things that I think if everyone had them, they'd be like, oh, I could do that too. And this thing that I've gotten to experience, and the things that as a result of that I've helped to have happen, anyone could do. Like, there's just nothing about me that is particularly special, except that I'm kind of analytical, and so I've now looked at those things, and I'm going to try and offer them up. So, and then spend time with my basketball team worth of grandbabies,
And watch Duke and WNBA basketball games.
Yeah, next year, inshallah, I'll go watch Caitlin Clark play in every WNBA arena.
That should be, you know how people go to baseball stadiums and take a picture at each baseball stadium? You should take a picture with her at each.
Well, I know. Well, she is compelling and special. And listen, yes, I know Paige Beckers is a wonderful basketball player, and there have been wonderful basketball players before. I played with some of them, just no one knows their names. I know one of them well, Elena Beard, WNBA superstar and Hall of Famer. Caitlin's compelling, and there's just something fun about it. And compelling is just its own little thing. So I'll do that. So I've kind of wondered whether there's like a Make-A-Wish for grown-ups. I know, right?
We're going to figure that out.
At Make-A-Wish.
But so Katie, to your question of doors, like you can see that I don't think I needed any of this to happen. But I am better for all of it. And though I don't know what I will be, I'm not trying to be what I was. And so there's kind of something cool about that,
is
right?
Really,
and I don't know what would have happened in 1989 if my office director hadn't said, Sue, would you quit doing this really great job and do IT? What if I'd said no? Would I be where I am? And if I hadn't gotten cancer that forced me to not be able to do everything that I'd been doing and say, now what do you really want to do? So I think those, like, I think they make you who you are, even if they're not what you were chosen, and certainly not what you needed. And you know that. I mean, you will both know this.
Yeah.
There are things that happen to us that we would never choose.
And that didn't happen for a reason.
Right? No. Oh, no. You know this. Wait, if people are like, you like, why you? I'm like, no, I'm more like, why not me? 2 million Americans this year are going to be diagnosed with cancer. Why not me? And that's not to minimize it. But I guess that's my big thing. Everything that happens can be something that happens.
Yeah.
right?
What I love about as you know, I'm a metaphor gal. So what I love about your flounder metaphor is that it is literally moving from one plane of existence to another, right? It is truly you're experiencing the human experience in a different way. And I think the way that I have observed this with you is that we both have been lucky enough to come with you to some of your treatments. And I think what I take away from that is every single nurse, doctor, medical assistant, receptionist, when they see you walk in the door, their faces light up. And the amount of love that so many people have for you and that you're able to spread through this circumstance, to me is like miraculously beautiful. And so that's the change that I see. Like that's the miracle that I see, and the opportunity in all of it is that, yes, grief is real and horrible things are real and horrible circumstances real, but the amount of love that opens up.
It does, totally.
I don't even know what to do with that, but it is deeply, deeply beautiful.
So more eloquently said than I ever could have. But I think take that, hold that, accept that how we started this, where you called me a unicorn and I called me average, right? And let's put them together with your story. And kind of part of the question I'm on is, if we could see everybody's moments, right? Because you saw that because you were in my moment, right? And you saw them reacting to me. I know I'm reacting to their care, right? That they know me. I think that's my greatest hope, is that's available to all of us if we see everybody. I do not believe what's being said right now, that half the people in America are evil. Oh my God, that is so not my experience. My experience is the one you described. In your best moment or your worst moment, there are people there if you just see them and let them see you, right? So that your anecdote is a better explanation of what I'm trying to do with the rest of my time, is to take some of the wisdom that I have acquired, put it in a context that everyone can use to see other people more clearly and connect more surely with them. And if we could do that, we would be so much better already. I think that's so available. What you've described isn't because I'm special. It's because in that moment, we all needed each other. Those nurses needed somebody to believe that what they were doing for them was going to work out. And I needed nurses to say, Sue, we're happy to see you. It's going to be fine, right? And I think and maybe it becomes easier in moments of hardship where we can no longer be in the bubble we thought we had. But
you have to reach out. Yeah.
Right, you do, but it does feel like once you know that it's there, couldn't we manufacture it more broadly? Like I said, I'm offended by the meanness, because it's what's false in my experience. That is what much more true is that every person wants the same things, and any person will connect with you if you allow connection.
I wanted to pause for a second because I want people to hear that. Well, wow. I mean, this was, I know it's going to be as emotional for everyone else as it is for us being here with you. So when you were our second guest on the podcast ever. The first guest was Carmen. Second guest was you. And
I wish I
that
had
was,
gone first so I didn't have to follow her.
The only reason she went first was because I didn't know you that way, and I was nervous. I was so nervous. And
Yeah, I am
needed
kind of a big deal.
You are. And so I needed someone I felt comfortable with. I wasn't going to just pee my pants.
What's so funny too is that Carmen actually didn't like the idea of doing a podcast.
Carmen,
And yet she's doing one of her own now, for God's sake.
She still did it, and that's what we love about Carmen.
She's that's a whole other funny stories. Everyone knows us, our podcast where we ask our guests to choose a code name in honor of the namesake of our podcast, Iron Butterfly, Eloise Page. So you chose 5 years ago. It's been 5 years, almost to the day. Simple Patriot. Would you keep that, or would you change it at this point because of the transformations in your life?
Wow. I cry all the time now. Yeah, I'd change it. That's also true. So I am not that. And you didn't tell me you were going to ask. I haven't thought about it. I wasn't smart enough to think about it. I would. I'd change it to humble servant.
Oh.
I love it.
Tell us why.
I've probably said it 15 times in this time we've had together. I've never been confused about how lucky I am. I have always believed that I had an infinite supply of me. And now at this place, all I want to do is be of use.
Thank you, Sue.
I love that. I think I just want to close by saying I don't think people realize how important you are to the community.
Oh my God, yes.
How important you are to us. How important you are to Iron Butterfly Media. I think people who are watching this episode because they've seen our documentary and want to learn more about you might not even realize that you shaped the film. You've shaped our ideas about the change that we need to see in the world. We have this guiding metaphor of the butterfly effect that truly is sort of our shepherd. It's like our North Star. And you brought us that idea because of the way that you talk about zoology, the way that you talk about systems, and the way that you're able to relate what we all see in the miracles that we all see around us every day to what that means for us as individual agents in a system. And so I hope people walk away understanding that. I think they've gotten to know you a little bit better, but
yeah, I want to re-record this whole thing.
No, but I would just like to piggyback off of that because you mentioned it in passing, but focused on how important she has been to us. But for the people who are not a part of the intelligence community and who are watching this, I don't think they'll fully understand how much you mean to this community and how we have had countless people or talk to us and say, I was in a room once with Sue. There were 500 people. She has no idea who I am, but when I was in that room, I felt like she was talking to me, just me.
And she made me feel powerful.
Yes, and there are, I would say, thousands of people that feel that way, thousands.
And I want everyone to know that my view is that each one of them can have everything that they see. And if it is true that I'm able to touch people, that's exactly what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to walk out saying, that's awesome, I can do that. Oh, she faced that. I know how I can face this. Oh, she believes that. Maybe it's true. Right?
You're creating butterflies.
Because I think it is. That when I say I'm average, I really do think that we can all have this. And I have a career of accomplishments born of the people who did exactly that. I get to have my name on it, but what I know is it wasn't me. It was me doing my part to open that up to them. And now it's like way more important, even for the community, because I think what we now know, what had been closed and small is now actually all of us and affecting all of us. And so I'm touched by what you say. I think all the time about, luck. How come I got to know you? I mean, think about the number of things that had to happen in order for us to come together. I had to be unceremoniously fired from my job, right? COVID had to happen. You all needed to do something because you couldn't sit idly by and let the world not notice the goodness that you saw. Any one of those things doesn't happen, we don't get to know each other. And what people don't know is you're here in Austin just because we like each other. It happens to be that we also share this deep and abiding passion for our nation and for our women and for everyone that they touch. But the truth is, so late in life, I got to meet people who not only inspire me, who give my small gifts transportation to other places, but more than that, like I've got friends who are my daughter's age, and that's awesome. It's just amazing. So just, I don't know, take the stuff that happens in your life and use it all of it, even the stuff that you can't bear, even the stuff you don't want. Use it, and don't be daunted by it. Maybe that's the one talent I have. So I tend not to be daunted by circumstance.
One of many.
I tend not to be daunted. I love you guys.
We love you too.
No, this is big, but I don't record this again because I'm not sure that I delivered on what's going to work. But
as I roll my eyes,
you did roll your eyes at me. I just I don't know. Aren't we lucky? That's just all I'm like sitting joyfully here, even as I'm talking about unimaginable hardship.
Mm-hmm. We are lucky. Right. I think that's a perfect way to close out. And I think an even more perfect way to close out is to hug.
Oh, awesome. That's so funny. I'm channeling. Okay, we've now created a common moment between you and me of incredible awkwardness that is replicated in the film. Remember we were sitting at the table?
Which table?
No, in the morning. Remember?
Yes,
you told him, and then it was like we should hug. It's like, well, no, it's like the most awkward thing in the universe.
It was like Okay, well maybe we won't hug that. We'll just end it right here. Just know we're hugging off.
We hug all the time. Oh, don't be dumb. We hug all the time. Hugging is not new for us. Hugging isn't new for us.
Thank you for listening to a special episode of Iron Butterfly Podcast, which ventures inside the world of our documentary, The Power We Hold, Stories from Women Spies. We might be coming to a film festival near you. To follow along on our journey, follow us on YouTube or Instagram, or visit our website at www.ironbutterflymedia.com. And if you like the show, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Stay fierce, and we'll talk next time.